For the first time, my wife's company had become my client, an opportunity that finally brought me to her workplace. I thought she'd be happy. Proud, maybe. But the moment her eyes found mine, her face went pale, almost terrified. "What are you doing here?" she whispered sharply. "Didn't I tell you I've been busy? Go home. Now." But I didn't leave. "I'm here to—" Before the sentence could escape my mouth, one of her colleagues cut in, clapping a hand on my shoulder as if we were old friends. "Hey, man, don't get any ideas about Katarina," he joked. "She already has a boyfriend." I laughed, ready to introduce myself, but his next words hit me like a plunge into Arctic water. "Katarina, when are you announcing your relationship with Erick? We all thought he was the reason you came out here." Their laughter filled the lobby, and suddenly, the unease that had been gnawing at me for 6 long months snapped into place. I set the proposal down on the table, trying to keep my voice steady. "Remember to bring me some wedding candy when the day comes," I said. I stood in the elevator, adjusting my tie, replaying the scene in my head. This was supposed to be a big day. We worked 3 months on this client, revised the proposal 7 times. I should have been focused, but my thoughts kept drifting back to Katarina. The elevator chimed. 23rd floor. The advertising agency she worked in was one of the top in the industry. Sleek marble floors, a skyline stretching beyond the glass walls, everything glowing with ambition. "Mr. Chan, this way, please," the receptionist said. As she led me down the hall, I heard a voice I knew better than my own heartbeat. Katarina's. She was talking softly, too softly, to a man standing close beside her. Erick, her university classmate, her creative director, the man she transferred companies to follow. "This idea is brilliant," she told him, eyes shining. "You always understand a brand perfectly." Erick chuckled. "Your angle is the real magic. Dinner later? There's a new Michelin place I've been dying to try." I stopped walking, just watched them, laughing, leaning in, completely unaware I was there. I'd seen moments like this before, but every time I asked, she said I was being insecure, that I didn't understand workplace dynamics. A colleague called her name. "Director, who's this?" Katarina looked up. Our eyes met. For a split second, her panic slipped through, then vanished under a mask of calm. "I don't know him," she said. 4 words. Clean, sharp, final. Erick turned, polite and distant. "Are you here to deliver a proposal?" I swallowed everything I wanted to scream and followed the receptionist to the meeting room. 20 minutes later, I stepped back into the elevator, alone. My suit still crisp, my tie still straight, but the dignity I walked in with felt painfully hollow now. "I don't know him." The words replayed like a cruel echo. Outside, rain had begun to fall. I stood by the glass doors, watching people drift away beneath umbrellas, each step taking them somewhere certain, somewhere warm. And I wondered when I had stopped having a place like that. By the time I reached home, darkness had settled in. The living room was quiet, too quiet, but on the coffee table sat a beautifully wrapped black and gold box. I switched on the lamp. Inside was an award-winning creative portfolio, and beside it a handwritten card. "Congratulations to Erick for winning Best Creative of the Year. Made especially for the person who understands my work the most." Erick's handwriting, her favorite script. I flipped through the pages, and a note slipped out. "Thank you, Katarina, for your constant support." A heaviness pulled at my chest. 3 months ago, I'd given Katarina my own portfolio, 5 years of my work, carefully printed and bound. I'd spent nights assembling it, hoping she'd be proud. She flipped through a few pages and tossed it aside. "This is outdated," she'd said. "Real advertising isn't like this anymore. Look at Erick's work. It's fresh, it's modern." After that, my portfolio vanished, probably thrown out with the recycling. But Erick's? His sat here like a trophy, displayed carefully, reverently, as if it were a piece of art. I picked up the book, turning the pages slowly. His work was good, sharp, award-winning. Everything mine apparently wasn't. But somehow, the more I looked at it, the more something inside me hollowed out. On every page of Erick's portfolio, I noticed something that twisted a little deeper into my chest. Katarina's handwriting, neat, elegant, carefully pressed in pencil. She had studied his work line by line. The same person who barely gave our team's proposal draft a single glance last week before dismissing it as too conservative. Learn from Erick, she'd told me, eyes shining with admiration. He always captures the brand's real pain points. His creativity is deep but warm. Warm. That word stuck with me like a thorn. I closed the portfolio and walked to the window, lighting a cigarette. The city's night skyline flickered alive, neon signs glowing awake one by one, stretching across the horizon like a restless heartbeat. My phone buzzed. A message from Katarina. I won't be home for dinner. Discussing a new project with Erick's team. Her words blurred into last night's conversation. How she'd praised Erick's work for having warmth. Yes, his creativity had warmth. But our marriage? It was growing colder by the day. I set my phone aside and headed to the study. From the bottom of a drawer, I pulled out a brown paper bag, the one filled with the pieces of work I was truly proud of. They weren't groundbreaking, maybe not award-winning, but each project carried years of sweat and quiet dedication. I had never shown them to her. Maybe because I was afraid. Maybe because a part of me already knew the verdict. Because no matter how hard I worked in her heart, I would never measure up to Erick. Rain began again outside, tapping softly against the glass. I flipped through my old portfolio, while the storm drowned out the distant noise of the city. Then, the front door clicked open. Katarina's heels echoed across the floor, followed by her voice, light, cheerful, too cheerful. Make yourself at home. I'll get you some water. A man's voice answered. Familiar, smooth, Erick. I stepped out of the study and found him standing in the middle of our living room, scanning the space like he was evaluating a set design. Hey, Vic, he said with a polite smile that didn't reach his eyes. Nice place, but... His brows pulled together. These magazines everywhere, it makes the place look a little tacky. He meant the professional journals I'd subscribed to for years. The ones I learned from. The ones I cherished. Katarina came out with a glass of water and immediately chimed in, almost eagerly. Exactly. I've told him so many times. But he insists on leaving them all over. It looks like a thrift store. Erick took the glass, sipping like he was tasting fine wine. Katarina, let's get back to business. Then he turned to me. Vic, the company landed a big project. They need to reorganize the creative team. Katarina thinks your performance has been slipping. So I suggest you withdraw from the creative core. Katarina cut in sharply. Your work has been slow, and your ideas feel outdated. I felt my fist curl at my side. So, because I don't follow Erick's style, I should step down? It's not about style, Erick said, setting the glass down with a soft clink. His tone turned patronizing, almost clinical. It's about skill. Your proposal last week missed basic market insights. And the idea? Outdated. Katarina nodded without hesitation. You've been slacking, Victor. Reading those old magazines all day. Look at Erick. He's studying metaverse marketing now. I let out a hollow laugh. So that's it? Because I don't worship the metaverse, I'm kicked out? Victor, Katarina snapped. What's with your attitude? Erick is trying to help you. You should appreciate it. I pointed at the portfolio on the coffee table. For my own good? Was it for my own good that he gave you his portfolio? Was it for my own good that you let the whole company believe you two are together? Erick lifted his hands, feigning innocence. Vic, you're misunderstanding things. I respect Katarina. Don't twist it. That's enough, Katarina said sharply. If you keep going, don't blame me for being rude. I looked at her, really looked at her, and exhaustion sank into my bones. What do you want from me? Starting tomorrow, you're moving to the execution team, she said coldly. The creative core will be handled by Erick. I don't agree. Katarina blinked, stunned. What did you just say? I said I don't agree. This project is mine. I built that team. Why should I step aside? Erick sighed dramatically. Vic, you're being unreasonable. With your skill level, being in the creative team at all is a courtesy from Katarina. Moving you to execution is doing you a favor. He's right, Katarina added. You're being ungrateful. Pack your things tonight. Report to execution tomorrow. I stared at her raised finger, so sure, so cold, and a bitter smile spread across my face. You want me to step down? Fine, but I'll delete the preliminary materials first. Katarina's face drained of color. You wouldn't dare. Why wouldn't I? I pulled out my phone, my voice icy. They're my work. If you think they're worthless, I'll treat them that way. After they left, the apartment felt impossibly quiet. Rain still pressed against the windows, turning the city lights into blurred streaks of color. I sank onto the couch, staring into the empty room. My phone lit up again. A friend had sent a message. Bro, your wife just posted something. I opened it. A photo from a Michelin restaurant. Katarina and Erick sitting side by side, wine glasses glinting under soft lighting. Their plates carefully arranged, fine dining perfection. Her caption read, "Dinner with the person who understands creativity the most. Excited for our new project." The comments flooded in. Director couple looks perfect. When's the wedding candy? Erick, confessed her already. And the worst part? Katarina replied to each teasing comment with a smile emoji, never denying a single one. I'd seen this routine so many times before. Whenever we argued, Katarina would run straight to social media, posting those vague, flirtatious updates, the kind designed to make me panic, to make me imagine her slipping into someone else's arms. And every time it worked. Back then, I'd drop everything. Call her, text her, show up at her office with her favorite dessert like some desperate peace offering. That was the reaction she wanted, me folding first, just so she could flash that victorious, satisfied smile. But tonight, I didn't feel panic, just irony. I closed her post, opened my laptop, and drowned myself in emails. My phone buzzed over and over with her missed calls. I knew the script by heart. Katarina waiting for me to break, to chase her, to beg like always. A new message lit up my screen. Victor, are you sulking again? I didn't respond. If you feel wrong, call me. Why aren't you picking up? Victor, if you keep this up, I'll really get angry. I silenced my phone and kept working. This project mattered. And for once, I wasn't going to let her storms pull me off course. By 2 a.m., I finished the final revision and finally checked my phone. 36 missed calls. And the last message, sharp, cold, all too familiar. If you don't reply, don't blame me for doing something drastic. I stared at that line and surprisingly felt nothing but a quiet sense of release. All those years, I'd been terrified of losing her, terrified she might run to someone else. But now it was painfully clear she'd already drifted away long ago. Or maybe I never truly had her in the first place. I stepped onto the balcony and lit a cigarette. The rain had stopped, leaving the streets glistening under soft moonlight. Neon signs blinked in the distance, outlining the city like a fading heartbeat. My phone buzzed again, but this time it wasn't her. A message from a headhunter. Director Chan, heard you're exploring new opportunities. I've got a great position. Want to talk? For the first time in a long while, I smiled. A few days later, on a quiet weekend afternoon, I was polishing my resume when I heard the front door open. Katarina stepped in, carrying the smell of warm food with her. Victor Chan, she called, voice soft, almost unfamiliar. I made your favorite sweet and sour ribs. I walked out to see the table set, 4 dishes and a soup, Katarina in an apron, smiling at me like it was years ago. Try it, she said, handing me a bowl of soup. You haven't been eating well lately, right? The last time she cooked for me was my birthday, 3 years ago. After that, she declared the kitchen too troublesome. She sat across from me, studying my face. You've been so busy, staying up late. Your dark circles are so obvious. I tasted the soup. It was perfect, exactly the flavor I liked. She noticed my silence and gently placed a rib in my bowl. About the other day, she murmured, lowering her head. I was wrong. I shouldn't have said I didn't know you at the company. I set my chopsticks down. So what? So, she looked up, eyes soft. Let's make up. I promise it won't happen again. And about Erick, don't overthink it. We're really just colleagues. The scene felt too familiar. An apology, my favorite dishes, a tender voice. The same cycle every time. Then her phone rang. She glanced at the screen and quickly declined. It rang again. You should answer, I said. She hesitated, then picked up. Hello? Erick, what? The client changed the plan? Her expression tightened. Immediately. Okay, I'll come right away. She hung up, already grabbing her bag. Victor, I'm sorry, but the client wants to change the plan. I finished for her. Yes, it's urgent. I have to go. Can Erick handle it? She paused at the doorway. I'm the one responsible. I need to be there. Katarina, I called. She turned, impatient but unsure. Do you know what today is? She blinked. What day? Our 4th wedding anniversary. A flicker of panic crossed her face. But only for a second. I'm sorry. I'll make it up to you when I get back, okay? I watched her rush toward the door, and something inside me finally clicked. No need to make it up, I said quietly. She stopped. What? I mean, you don't need to make it up anymore. Victor, what are you saying? I met her eyes, calmly, clearly. I wrote the divorce agreement. Sign it when you get back, after you finish things with your true love. Her face froze in disbelief, and I gently closed the door. The headhunter had arranged an interview with Sunflower for their creative director role. As I waited in the conference room, I glanced at the wall, a line of award certificates, and right in the center, Erick's award. Fitting. Victor Chan. A young woman stepped in, smiling. We've heard a lot about you. Your work at 4A was impressive, especially last year's viral sports campaign. I blinked. It was one of my proudest projects, but I had never included it in my portfolio. We did a detailed background check, she continued, noticing my confusion. Even though many of your works were credited to the team, we know the core creative ideas came from you, including the recent award-winning FMCG campaign. I forced a smile. That award-winning campaign was Erick's. Erick. She looked down at her notes, frowning slightly. She flipped the page in the folder, eyes narrowing. Oh, you mean that project, the one where they swap your name out right before the finals. Please, everyone knows you came up with that idea months ago. My fist tightened before I even realized. So it was true. That award-winning project wasn't Erick's genius at all. It was mine, stolen so cleanly that even I had started doubting myself. No wonder he sounded so confident during the proposal meeting. He already knew every corner of the work. The rest of the interview passed almost too smoothly. And just as I stood to leave, the interviewer added with a warm smile, If you join us, Mr. Chan, you'll have full creative freedom, your own team, and a salary 50% higher than what you're earning now. Walking out of Sunflower's glass doors, a strange mix of satisfaction and conflict churned in my chest. When I got home, Katarina was waiting in the living room, arms crossed, voice sharp. Where were you? The company's been looking for you. I brushed past her and headed for the study. She followed immediately, her heels tapping like accusations. I heard you're applying for jobs. Have you lost your mind? The company is at a critical stage right now. Critical? I turned to face her. You mean the stage where Erick takes my idea to the competition? Her expression flickered. Just for a second, but it was enough. What are you talking about? She tried, but the panic was there, hiding behind her eyes. Last year's award-winning campaign. I said quietly, that was mine, wasn't it? You. She bit her lip, scrambling for ground. You're overreacting. That project was Erick's, Katarina. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. You handed him my idea and let him erase my name before the finals. Did you really think I wouldn't find out? Silence. Then the shift, the soften and soothe tactic she always used. Victor, let me explain. It was the company's decision. They felt Erick was more suitable. I let out a cold laugh. And now, Planning to push me out entirely? Maybe let Erick take everything I build from now on? You're being dramatic, she shot back, voice quivering. I'm doing this for you. Erick has connections. If you work with him, doors will open for you. No need. I said, opening my laptop. I already have a new door. She leaned in, saw the sunflower email, and her face drained of color. You're going to Sunflower? Yes. No. She shut the laptop with a thud. You can't go. Do you even know the history between Erick and Sunflower's creative director? If you choose them, you're choosing war. You'll ruin yourself. I reopened the laptop calmly. You don't need to worry. Victor, she stepped in front of me. Desperate now? If you go to Sunflower, you'll what? I asked, post another cozy photo with Erick? Let him take my work again? Her breath hitched. The mask slipped. Fear bled through. Are you really going to Sunflower? She whispered. Yes. You can't do this, she cried, grabbing my wrist. Victor, the entire advertising circle will turn on you. Sunflower is only hiring you to hurt Erick. You're walking straight into a trap. I pulled my hand back. So what? I should turn down my future for you and Erick? It's not about that. Her voice cracked. You're not strong enough on your own. Without us, you can't survive out there. I stared at her, really stared. And suddenly everything, the doubts, the unease, the questions, finally aligned. To her, I wasn't a partner. I was a stepping stone. Katarina, I said quietly, you're right. She exhaled, relieved. Good. Then I unlocked my phone and opened a memo, but I recorded everything. The conversation where you and Erick took my credit. And your threats just now. Want to hear the playback? The color drained from her face instantly. When did you? Since the day you gave my ideas. I slipped the phone into my pocket and reached into a drawer. If we're talking about my future, then we should talk about this too. She frowned. What's that? A divorce agreement. The paper hit the table between us like a verdict. Her eyes widened. No, absolutely not. You can't be serious. I picked it back up when she threw it aside. Why not? Isn't Erick waiting? She froze and smiled a cold, cutting smile. You think you'll survive in this industry after leaving me? My father is a vice president of the association. Erick is a creative director. One phone call and you'll never work again. So this is a threat, I said. It's a warning, she snapped. You're nothing without us. Nothing. I looked at her, the woman I once thought I knew. Now all I saw was someone who had never, not once, seen me as an equal. You're right, I told her softly. Without you and Erick, I am nothing. Her shoulders relaxed slightly. But that's why I recorded everything. Her breath stopped. Now, I said, can we finally talk about the divorce? Katarina collapsed into a chair, tears finally breaking through. Victor, you've changed. Outside, the sky darkened. Rain began to fall, steady, relentless, tapping against the window like a quiet applause for the ending she never saw coming. Later, her trembling voice broke through the rain. Are we really doing this? I stood at the window, watching the city dissolve behind streaks of water. What else is left to do, Katarina? What exactly do you still expect from me? She approached slowly, voice cracking. We've been together for so many years. How can you be so heartless? I turned to her. Heartless? Katarina, in all these years, have you ever once shown me kindness? She stopped, frozen, tears still clinging to her lashes. And for the first time, the silence between us felt honest. Her voice wavered, but I didn't look away. From the day we met, every argument, every quiet night, every project I poured my soul into, one truth echoed louder than anything she could say now. When had she ever truly cared about how I felt? My work had been brushed aside, my effort dismissed with a sigh. Even my name casually handed to someone else like it meant nothing. That was my fault, she whispered, head lowered. I apologize. Victor, can we start over? I shook my head gently. There's no need. Her head snapped up. eyes suddenly sharp. Why? Because of that woman from Sunflower? The interviewer. Have you known her for a long time? The accusation caught me off guard. Then it hit me. You had someone follow me? She bit her lip, searching for an excuse. I was just worried about you. Enough. My voice cut through the room. The divorce papers are already signed. Have you signed yours? No. She grabbed the agreement with trembling fingers. Unless you promise you won't go to Sunflower. I looked at her, truly looked at her, and all I felt was exhaustion, not anger, just the tired truth settling in. Katarina, what is it you want from me? I want you to stay, she cried, voice cracking. I know I've hurt you. I know I've done terrible things. But I can't live without you. I let out a cold, humorless breath. Can't live without me, or can't live without a tool who can feed Erick your creative ideas. Her body jolted as if I'd struck her. Sign it, I said, handing her the pen. Let's at least end things with whatever dignity we have left. Her hand shook violently as she pressed the pen to the page. You'll regret this, she whispered. Maybe, I murmured, staring at the rain streaking down the window. But anything is better than staying like this. Her tears fell onto the paper as her signature bled into the page. When she finally slid the document across the table, her voice was barely audible. Here, you're free now. I picked it up and turned to leave. Victor, her voice trembled behind me. Do you really hate me that much? The rain outside had softened, light filtering gently through the gray sky. I didn't turn around. I don't hate you, I said quietly. I'm just finally awake. The room went silent, except for her muffled sobbing. As I walked to the living room, I noticed the dinner she had once prepared still sitting on the table. Cold now, forgotten, 1 year later. Director Chan, the venue for the product launch is confirmed. My assistant, Xiao Wang, stepped into my office. And our competitors will be there. Erick's leading the team. I heard Katarina's coming too. I nodded. Got it. A year had passed, and in that time my team and I had risen fast, new clients, award-winning campaigns, and a fresh social marketing model that had shaken the entire industry. Tonight's launch was for the award we had just won. Ironically, the same award Erick had claimed last year with my stolen idea. Should we adjust the seating? Xiao Wang asked quietly. I closed the file. No, keep everything as planned. By 5:30, the hall was already buzzing with industry voices, compliments, handshakes. Then, sudden commotion near the entrance. Erick walked in with Katarina. She wore a sleek black dress, looking polished, poised, distant. Her eyes swept the room until they found me. Just for a moment, she froze. It's been a while, Erick said with a polite, practiced smile. I hear Director Chan is doing very well at Sunflower. I raised my glass slightly. You flatter me. Too humble, he laughed, the edge in his voice unmistakable. By the way, I'm curious. Is your big idea this time another one borrowed from our company? Before I could respond, a crisp voice cut in. That's not quite right, Erick. Rita, our lead designer, stepped forward, a glass of wine in hand and a calm smile on her lips. Didn't you forget whose idea the borrowed case was last year? Erick's face twitched. Miss Sue, what exactly are you implying? Nothing, she shrugged lightly. Just reminding you that some accusations tend to boomerang. Katarina stepped forward, tense. Who are you? Me. Rita smiled sweetly and glanced at me. I'm the one who interviewed Director Chan. Don't you remember? You had someone follow us that day, right? Katarina's face drained immediately. Rita turned to me. Director Chan, it's time. We should head backstage. I nodded and walked away. Behind me, I heard Katarina's voice, strained, breaking. Victor, you really did all this for her? Rita paused, looking over her shoulder. Katarina, you misunderstand. We're just colleagues. Then she smiled, sunny and sincere. But I should thank you. If you hadn't pushed him away, our company would never have found such a talented creative director. After the event, as I went over details with my team, the lounge door opened. Katarina stood there, Her expression calm. Too calm. Can we talk? Rita glanced at me. I nodded. You all go ahead. I'll join you later. When the door closed, only the quiet hum of backstage remained. You're doing well now, Katarina said softly, eyes drifting across the minimal room. It's going fine. That Rita, she hesitated. Are you two together? I shook my head. We're colleagues. I've told you this already. Really? She stepped closer. Because she looked at you like, Katarina, I cut in. You didn't come here to talk about her. She fell silent, then said something I didn't expect. Erick proposed to me. I blinked, then let out a small laugh. Congratulations. That's it. She stared at me, hurt and furious. Do you really not care? What exactly should I care about? Victor, her voice cracked as all the composure she'd held shattered. Do you know what my last year has been like? Every day, every single day, I regretted how I treated you. I leaned back against the desk. So, my voice was calm. She inhaled shakily. So, I turned down Erick's proposal. Tears pooled in her eyes, as if the world had finally shown her what she had thrown away. Because somewhere along the way, I realized I just can't forget you. When Katarina said that, voice trembling, tears streaking down her cheeks, I felt time pull me backward. Back to that rainy night a year ago, when she was crying the same way, begging me not to leave. I looked at her for a long moment. Katarina, I asked softly, do you know what my biggest realization has been this past year? She lifted her eyes, waiting. What? That loving someone isn't about losing yourself. It's about lifting each other up without breaking your own spine in the process. I can change, she blurted out. I understand now. You're so much better than Erick. Look how successful you become at Sunflower. Enough? I cut her off gently. You still don't understand. What you like isn't me. It's the polished version of me. The creative director. The man who finally shines. That's not true, If I were still that unknown guy working quietly behind the scenes, would you still be standing here? Her lips parted, but nothing came out. A knock broke the silence. Rita poked her head in. Director Chan, the client's looking for you. I'll be right there. I straightened my suit, glanced back at Katarina. Take care of yourself. As I reached the door, her voice cracked behind me. Victor, is there really no chance for us anymore? I didn't turn back. I simply walked out. Later, on the terrace during the celebration dinner, Erick approached me with a pack of cigarettes. Smoke. I've quit, I said. He lit one for himself. I heard Katarina came to see you. Yeah. He exhaled, the smoke drifting into night air. She rejected my proposal. Erick, you don't have to. No, listen. He let out a bitter laugh. I've always felt guilty about that award last year, and I wanted to apologize and ask you to let her go. She really regrets everything. I stood straighter, looking at him under the city lights. Have you ever wondered why she turned you down? He blinked. What do you mean? Because you're no longer the man she sees as the best, just like I wasn't back then. He didn't say anything for a long time. You've changed a lot, he finally murmured. People do, I replied. When I returned inside, Xiao Wang rushed over, practically buzzing. Director Chan, big news. We got a spot in the Asia-Pacific Advertising Festival, and the judges said your past company's works can be recredited to you. I smiled and shook my head. No need. That's all behind me. But focus on the competition ahead, I said, patting his shoulder. The future matters more than the past. By the time the banquet ended, it was late. Rita walked up. Want me to drive you home? No, I said. I'll walk. She nodded. All right. And if Katarina comes again, she won't, I said quietly. She's not looking for me. Only the version she imagined. The night streets were calm, buzzing softly with distant memories. Meeting Katarina for the first time, the moment she looked at me and said she didn't know me anymore, the strange relief of signing the divorce papers. I passed a convenience store, grabbed a can of beer. The clerk was watching an ad on his tablet. That's a solid idea, I said casually. He brightened. Yeah, I heard it was made by Sunflower's new creative director. So smart. I just smiled and paid, saying nothing. Outside, the early spring breeze brushed against me as my phone buzzed. A message from Rita. Don't be late for the meeting tomorrow, director. I leaned back, finished the last sip of beer, and looked up at the quiet stars. This year, I lost a relationship, but found a fuller, steadier version of myself. The traffic light flicked to green. I tossed the empty can, took a breath, and stepped forward, into the night, into the city lights, into whatever comes next.